Hi everyone. Hello, my name is Sarah and I will be your instructor for this fun-filled semester of Advanced GIS. In this short video, I wanted to introduce myself and also highlight the 6 most important things to know about Advanced GIS for spring 2018. So this is what to expect today. Not too much, a little bit about me and the 6 things you need to know. So moving on to about me. I am actually teaching this course remotely from Long Beach, California. Though I actually did spend last summer teaching at the Lander Center in Wyoming. So I know a bit about where you guys are generally based from, and I loved Wyoming, just so you know. I thought it was just a most remarkable landscape and really interesting experience, and I'll always have a special place in my heart for the state and my time there. A little bit about my credentials. I actually have a PhD from King's College London. When I was doing my research, I actually used a bit of PhD for my own thing, my own research field work. But it wasn't until actually I finished my PhD that I started dabbling a lot more in GIS and getting to know the subject more. And now I'm teaching this class today, and also other GIS classes. I'm personally interested in matters relating to urban planning, real estate, and public space, but I like mapping of all kinds, and I like bringing together elements of sociology and human behavior with geography and other scientific data. And I just love how GIS and GIS technology is helping us solve all sorts of problems and identifying new ways of thinking about things and seeing the world. So before we move on to the 6 things, I just wanted to quickly highlight that there are a few admin materials that you should be looking at if you haven't already. One is the course outline, which of course just shows you week by week what I have decided in an ideal world that we'll be tackling, and gives you the dates for each week and the due dates for the homework. You can also see that there's columns for each assignment type that will be due, so you can kind of write in when there's things that are blank because I don't have the reading question values assigned yet. The course summary is just my own expectations for the class and includes descriptions of assignment types, grading, late policies, etc. And there's the syllabus, which of course is the official sort of documentation for the class on record with the college. And last are my lab guidelines. Because this is a fully online class, I am requiring that everybody document their progress through their lab work, just so that I can see what you're doing and ensure that your work is your original work. And there are guidelines for how to kind of take those screenshots and upload them. So moving on to point number 1, because again this is a fully online class, I think it's really imperative that you commit to consistently checking in on the class and developing a routine for identifying when you want to be working and for getting your work done. Because online classes offer maximum flexibility, it can also mean that due dates and homework creep up on you if you're not careful. And as such, I take my due dates and my late policies very seriously, simply because you do have plenty of headway leading into an assignment. I will usually try and have stuff up at least 1 week in advance, but actually 2 weeks in advance of it being due. So there should rarely be any excuse for you not getting the work done. If you happen to turn something in late, I will only accept it for 1 day following this due date, which will always mean the Wednesday at 11:55 p.m. is when things are due, and you will get half credit. Besides that, I actually will offer extra credit. So if you happen to miss stuff, don't worry. We'll have opportunities to kind of bulk up your points and do some extra learning. If you do know that you have to be late on an assignment, just let me know in advance and we'll work something out. We'll make accommodation. I know life is life and things happen, but if you can actually give me a little warning or not email me at 11:30 on Tuesday night, then I'll be much more amenable to working something out with you. The key here is just to communicate, of course. So just a brief description of your assignment types. Every week you will have reading questions that apply to the chapter or the topic we're studying. You'll also have a lab from the book to do. And if you look at the course outline document, you will notice that there are weeks where instead of covering a new chapter and doing a lab, we will be doing a content review. The content reviews are designed to come after an end of a thematic section of chapters, and in those content reviews we'll be digging a little bit more into the skills that were learned during that section and kind of allowing you to maybe pick an area that you wanted to gain a little more skill mastery in. That will also require documentation similar to lab documentation. 4 is grading, every foremost concern. Grading's not too complicated. The reading questions are all worth 1 point for every question that's there, so it changes on a weekly basis. The labs are worth 20 points, 10 points for the documentation, and 10 points for the questions. And the content reviews are 50 points, and those are worth 30% for the reading questions, 30% for the labs, and 40% for the content review. So I am doing weighted grading. Let's see, what do we have next here? Technology and data. This class requires that you have access to a PC and that it has ArcMap for desktop installed. Now I assume that's not a problem for anybody. If so, let me know. We can get you an ArcMap license, get you set up somewhere, but I know, Advanced GIS, you guys should have that sorted. Second thing though, and if you don't have this already, I highly recommend you get some kind of external hard drive for storage of data. If you haven't noticed already in your beginner's class that there's a lot of files that are used in creating and doing labs, but then they're also created from the labs. So as you continue in your GIS education and career, you'll find it more and more that having it on an external hard drive is very, very handy, and it saves wear and tear and space on your own computer. And also if you're working from a school computer, it just makes it so much easier and hassle-free to just plug it in and take it with you. Last, each week, those assignments that I talked about back in point 3, they're going to have 2 forms that they come in. One is a Google Doc, which is basically like an online Word document where the questions will be outlined, or they'll just be there. I call this the template. You can use this to have in front of you when you do your reading, when you do your lab work, and you can print it out or do whatever you want with it. But the answers, the responses, are to be submitted through the Google form, which will be a separate link that will be at the bottom of your or your chapter description for the week. And the Google form is basically an online survey, and it'll look exactly like the questions you had, except you'll have a space to kind of just copy and paste in your answers, and you'll submit it through that. You'll also be able to submit the documentation I require, such as the screenshots and the certificates of completion and whatnot. If you ever have any questions about using the Google Forms and Google Docs, of course let me know. Some people are familiar with using it, some people aren't. It's actually quite easy, but let me know if you have any problems with it. So moving on, if as you progress through your work you find you have questions or problems, of course email me, of course. I promise I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I might not be able to get back to you immediately. Could be by the end of the day, or might be the next morning. I do have other things that I do, so I'm not always in front of a computer, so it could take some time. You can also post it to the questions or problems section on the course page, which is the forum that we can use as a class to talk about problems that are coming up, or you as a class can query each other if you're having issues. Alternatively, you can talk to the GIS tutor. Kind of stay tuned for an announcement regarding their availability. I'm not sure what that will be, but there will be somebody available to help you out if you're just stuck and you just don't know what to do. So let's see. Ultimately, I think GIS is fun. It can be really annoying at times, but it's still fun at the end of the day. And if you ever don't understand anything, again, just ask questions. Again, post it to the forum, ask the tutor, ask myself. Look it up online. There are so many resources online for troubleshooting. But ultimately, I want to make sure you're getting as much out of this class as possible. The topics we cover are quite literally entire fields of expertise in their own right. And the purpose of this class is not to become an expert in any one thing we study, but to gain familiarity with the possibilities that exist for problem solving with GIS and to know how and when these tools can be used. The work will probably be challenging. It'll probably throw you up some roadblocks and make you frustrated at times, but be patient and know that so many problems can and do arise when doing GIS for everybody. And that part of the fun, I think, is teaching yourself to troubleshoot, to ask questions, and to use the vast amount of resources on the internet, as I mentioned. So So, and no doubt the best way to ensure that you get what you need from the class is just to get in there, do the work, and see where it takes you. So, you got this. I'll talk to you guys later, and have fun on that week 1 assignment.